welcome to the second Pick a Stack reading. I am very, very excited to do this again. I had so much fun with the first one and I got some really great feedback, so I appreciate that. Keep those comments and everything coming because I want to make sure that you're enjoying these as much as I am. So the theme of tonight's reading is going to be all about the energies of the full moon coming at us, which as I'm filming this, the full moon will be tomorrow, Thursday the 25th. So of course, depending upon when you're watching this, but just wanting to kind of prepare ourselves for how to kind of work with the energies, what might be specifically kind of in store for us. I am trying out a slightly different lighting setup with actually less light technically than the first one, so I'm hoping it's not too dark, but because these cards are so glossy, the reflection of the ring light was annoying me, so I'm gonna try this out and see if it works better. But we're just having fun here, and you know, just want to get these messages out, so not looking for perfection at this point. But so as was the deal with this, the first one, and will be kind of the theme for all of these Pick a Stack readings, what I would love for you to do is kind of just take a moment and figure out, or just kind of look at each stack and kind of see which one calls to you, whether it's stack 1, stack 2, or stack 3. We have a couple different crystals out tonight. So we have our celestite, which I believe I used in the last reading. We have a peach moonstone heart, which I also may have used in the last one. And then we have a piece of really beautiful raw rose quartz. So these were the crystals that wanted to come and play tonight. So you can obviously like pick your stack based on the crystal, or a combination of just kind of, you know, the number 1, 2, or 3 in the crystal, whatever works best for you. Just take a moment and just kind of allow the first number to kind of come to mind for what messages are maybe meant for you. And remember, you can absolutely take what resonates and leave what doesn't. If you find that pieces of the reading based on the stack that you chose do not resonate with you right now, I highly encourage you to just kind of make a note of them. And you can kind of circle back and sometimes see that perhaps the messages kind of come through or resonate for you at a later time, or make sense, kind of make that light bulb go off. So but if they don't, that's totally fine as well. These are obviously not as personal of a reading as it would be if you and I were, you know, sitting here together. So there's going to be some things that are more generalized for sure in this type of a setup. If you are interested in a personal reading with me, I will link the signups down below. I have a couple of different options. One is going to be a mini reading that is a 3-card tarot pull. Usually I add in 1 or 2 oracle cards, and I write up the messages that come through and send it to you as a PDF with the images of the cards. So it is not a live reading. The other 2 options are live personal readings. One is just a one-time 1-hour session via Zoom or phone, whichever works best for you. The last option is my membership. So your spiritual GPS membership. And that basically is a little bit of a reduced cost for 1 hour of a reading, but it's a monthly membership. So you pay $75 a month. You have a credit to use at any point in that month to schedule a reading whenever works best for you. We can be on like a specific schedule, you know, like the 1st of every month or the 2nd of every month or the 15th of every month, or you can just choose to schedule it, you know, if something pops up that you're like, I need to understand what the hell is going on here. And then you can reach out and we can schedule it based on my availability. So that is another fun option as well. So all of those links will be down in the description box if that's something that you're interested in. But without further ado, we are going to get started. So again, take a moment, decide which stack calls to you. You can pause the video if you want to and kind of just think on it for a minute, but don't try to like reason or logic your way, just whatever kind of comes first to mind. Go with that one. You can always, of course, check out the other readings or the other stacks as well. And just like last time, I'll put the timestamps in the description box of each stack in case you want to skip ahead. So, okay, with that, I'm going to move stacks 2 and 3 to the side, and we are going to see what stack number 1 has in store for us. And I'm not sure if you can hear him, but my cat is meowing outside the door. He desperately wants to be involved. Oh, actually, I think it's almost dinner time. That's probably what his problem is. Okay, I'll put this up here. And we're going to start with our 3 tarot cards here. These are from the Modern Witch Tarot deck. So we have, ooh, that's fun. The Emperor, the Chariot. Oh my God. Okay. Wowzers. These are some big energies for stack 1. So the other thing I did want to mention is the full moon is in Leo. So Leo is very much about kind of embracing your inner confidence. It's a big, can be loud energy, but it's really about kind of tapping into who you truly are and not being afraid to share that with the world. And so I love that these big, bold kind of energies have come through for stack 1. So we have the Emperor, the Chariot, and the World. These are all major arcana cards, which again, big energies. It makes a lot of sense. The initial thing that comes through really about just these 3 in general is this is kind of setting the tone for your year, which kind of makes sense because obviously it's our first full moon of 2024. This can kind of set that tone, set that tempo for the year, and maybe set that direction a little bit. So if you have maybe been a little unsure about what your goals might look like this year or kind of what you want to do, if you're taking your time figuring that out, hallelujah, because winter is a time actually for hibernation and slowing down, not necessarily for going freaking gangbusters. So if you have kind of been taking your time, whether it was purposely or unintentionally, that's kind of perfect, honestly, for these energies that have come through. And this is saying like, here is your opportunity to kind of gain some clarity. Full moon is all about illuminating things, and kind of, nothing can hide from the light. And so bringing some clarity to the direction you might want to go. So with the Emperor card, what I get from this is this card is very typically akin to like godlike energy. So deep spirituality, but more from a kind of protector provider vibe as opposed to like intuition, flow, dreamy faith, I guess. So the Emperor is very much like is the protector provider. So kind of tapping into this energy. So what this can look like for you is really being willing to surrender. And that has been like a huge word, I feel, in the last few weeks, but surrender to the idea that you are and can be protected and provided for. You do not have to do all of the protecting, all of the providing for yourself and, any of your loved ones that are in your life. It doesn't mean that you're not going to be those things for yourself and for other people, but really kind of this reminder is what's coming through, this reminder that you don't have to do it all on your own. You have a really phenomenal spiritual support system that wants to kind of take the lead for a minute from you, because you have big things to do and to be and to have. But the concern of your spirit team, I suppose, is if you continue to refuse to allow yourself to be guided, you're going to miss out on some really phenomenal opportunities. So the Emperor card is kind of this, like, this feels very much like you need to surrender. Like, this is kind of a no nonsense in the context of this reading. Feels very no nonsense, like I love you but kind of energy. And you need to be willing to just surrender this need to do and be everything for others, even more than for yourself, and allow yourself to be carried and protected and guided. That could come in the form of like real life people in your life, that you have to kind of be willing to accept help. But this very specifically is about, are you actually truly willing to have faith in God, in the universe, in your spirit guides, in your angels, whatever you believe in. Although I highly encourage you to think of this as, again, like that masculine protector, provider energy. Are you willing to have faith that you can actually be guided in the proper direction, without that fear of like, oh my God, I'm out of control. I don't have control over this situation. So this is about giving up control, which again, in the context of this reading, what I love also about this being followed up by the Chariot is that Chariot is about movement, and sometimes about choice, and kind of taking different pathways. Again, in the context of this reading, this also kind of feels like Jesus take the wheel kind of a moment. And if you're willing to kind of just go balls to the wall based on the nudges and the messages and the experiences or opportunities that come up for you that feel like almost this like too good to be true energy, trust that it is so good and so true for you, and just keep going like full bore. And I definitely feel like this full moon period, since that's what we're kind of reading about here, is that opportunity for you to kind of hit the gas and move forward. Where, again, I do get this feeling that even though the majority of society, right, sets New Year's resolutions or New Year's goals and like hits January 1 with this like refreshed attitude, that maybe you have found it challenging to do that this year, and that might be a new sensation for you. But it has been so necessary for you to kind of ease into the new year. And now you get to, again, kind of put the pedal to the metal. But it's going to take, it is going to take, again, surrendering, like taking a hand off the handlebars, if you will, and just trusting that like you're following the right road, the right pathway, so long as you are listening to that guidance you're being given. Yeah. And again, there's such a specific need is the best way I can describe it. A specific need for you to just fucking surrender your control to God, to the universe, to spirit guides, again, whichever works for you. And that feels like it's very challenging for you. I also feel like I should be looking in a mirror when I'm reading these particular cards. So perhaps stack 1 is for me as well. So I totally feel the control issue thing. So yeah. What I want to tell you is, It can be something so small. So a really beautiful way to kind of like get yourself used to this idea of surrendering the control is if you have a situation that comes up, you know, whether it's and start small, like with a small decision or a small like problem that requires, you know, a resolution of some kind, but instead of doing what you would probably normally do, which is start to run through your mind like all of the different scenarios, all of the different ways you could resolve something, completely ignoring the divine ways, completely ignoring actual help and support from other human beings in your life. But instead of doing that, immediately stop, take a breath, and just replace all of those racing thoughts with, thank you, God, for the perfect results now. Your will be done, not mine. Repeat that as many fucking times as you can. And just allow yourself to feel that kind of like relaxing and that removal of that weight from your shoulders. And like allow yourself to envision what it would be like to be, I guess, handed the solution, like handed the solution without having to like think and plan and scheme and put all of that like mental work into that. And then we end up with the world. So again, in the context of this feels very much like this is the time to illuminate how you want to truly be this year. And so this works so beautifully with the fact that this is a full moon in Leo, because it is again all about authenticity and just being exactly who the fuck you're supposed to meant to be. Who the fuck you're supposed to be. And like you have been given full fucking permission to go just full out. And the world really is your oyster, is what kind of keeps coming through. Like you have the ability, you have the power, you have the capacity, if you're willing to trust and work on that trust, work on that faith. You have the ability to truly do whatever the hell you want to. So I think the exercise for you for this full moon can be really sitting down and asking yourself, what is it that I really want to do? If there was no limits, if there was no fear of failing whatsoever, what is it that I truly want to do? Who do I want to be? Who do I want to show up as? And start crafting that vision, because that and so much more is possible for you if you connect and maintain the connection to that protector provider, and just allow that energy to guide you where you're supposed to go without trying to control the situation so much. So let's see, we have our first oracle card, which I just spaced on the name. Thank you. The Magical Spirit Oracle. I absolutely love this deck so much. Of course, you don't need it all figured out. The Gifted Guide, Stars, Chaos, Opportunity. So here's the thing. Fucking duh. Based on everything we said over here, of course, this is the card that comes through for you out of this deck. So chaos. This can feel very chaotic if you keep trying to have both hands on the fucking handlebars and you keep trying to turn the motorcycle in a way that doesn't make sense, I guess, because you're trying to make it make sense. So you have to surrender. You have to surrender that need to control, because you don't need it all figured out. You just flat out don't. You just don't. You don't need it all figured out. And if you want that to be a fucking motto, affirmation you tell yourself over and over again, I don't need it all figured out, I highly encourage that. And then again, you have this opportunity kind of keyword, and that is this, like every opportunity you could ever think of is at your fingertips, but you have to be willing to do this. You have to be willing to have faith. You have to be willing to not take over when you feel like you're getting a little lost. Again, that's the chaos part, because that can feel very chaotic. It also can feel very chaotic to surrender. So that's kind of the duality of that kind of word for this reading is you can create chaos for yourself if you're not willing to surrender, but surrendering can feel very chaotic to you. So having that awareness ahead of time can help you to kind of understand almost and accept that it's going to feel chaotic, but that it is absolutely like it is meant to, you are meant to be guided and you are meant to follow that direction without trying to control the destination. Oh my God. Of fucking course. Okay. So you got the actual fucking full moon in Leo card. By the way, this is from the Moonology, just her original deck, Moonology. Don't let pride get in your way. Don't let the need to control create that chaos for you. Because you are guided. You are supported. You are protected. And you are provided for. You just have to allow for it to happen. Oh, I just love doing this so much. We also have the Moonology Messages deck. Follow the moon, watch for signs. Watch for those signs. Like, it's okay. You can watch for the road signs to kind of have a better understanding of where you might be headed. But because that can feel, safer, if you will. So, but that is looking for those messages, asking for those messages, asking for the directions. And it's asking for those directions. Being willing to develop some rituals in your day that give you that time to connect, whether that is a couple minutes in the morning to, again, just kind of like wake up and say, thank you, God, for the perfect results. Now your will be done, not mine. Going to bed and saying that. I do that myself because my brain just starts going psycho at night when I'm trying to go to bed. And sometimes that's the best way for me to like calm that commentary, that hamster wheel, I like to call it. This can also, of course, be having, readings done throughout the year if you want to, or at various times to kind of like make sure you're really on the right path if you start to feel scared. So hence why I've done the spiritual GPS membership. Or if you have oracle decks or tarot decks yourself, like using those tools to kind of have a deeper way to connect other than just kind of like looking out for, signs and messages in your everyday life, but taking the time, to ask for and then be open to receiving them. I love this so much. And then the last one we have is from the Moonstruck Crystals oracle deck. And this is Jade, but it says, good fortune always comes my way because I am my own good luck charm. So again, good fortune. I freaking love kind of this similar oval shape here because these two feel very, very much hand in hand. I am my own good luck charm. You absolutely are, because, and especially I should say, when you're willing to be kind of nudged and guided. And it doesn't mean that you are all the time just hands off the wheel, like whatever's going to happen is going to happen. But it's important to have that attitude, that willingness to flow and be protected more often than not. You still need to play a part in your own life. And free will is forever and always going to be the biggest variable when it comes to working with the energies of a reading. And so you still definitely have agency in your life. You aren't just a pawn. You aren't just a victim of circumstance by any stretch of the imagination. And if you start to feel that way, clock yourself hard fucking core and figure out what you need to do to get out of that mindset. Because that will like immediately shut the door on you to what opportunities lay ahead of you. And so you do have some amazing power and magic already within you. It's just that in order to exceed your own expectations and in order to truly be living your most authentic life, that brings you the most joy and the most abundance and the most, just most magical experience, you have to tap into, and connect wholeheartedly to your spirituality. So, wow, stack one. This was beautiful. This was beautiful. Oh my gosh, these are so, I almost don't want to put these away, but we have to move on. So I hope if you chose this stack, I hope that this resonated for you. And if it doesn't yet, just kind of keep it in the back of your brain, just in case, things kind of shift here in the next couple of days, especially. But also feel free, of course, to stick around for the other stacks. So we're going to move this crystal over there. We're going to bring the Peach Moonstone Heart, and we're going to bring in stack number 2. So we have the 3 of Cups. We have the Ace of Wands. Oh, my favorite deck, or my favorite card in the entire deck, is the High Priestess. Okay, this is really, really lovely. What's so fascinating is stack 1 was very, again, like, you can probably hear the cat. It is definitely dinner time. Stack 1 was very much, that like that strength, that again, protector, provider, masculine energy, if you will, God like energy. And this is kind of the like polar opposite. This is very much flow, femininity, intuition, playfulness, but again, still with the theming of connecting to your spiritual center, to your spiritual core, and kind of being your authentic self, just with a little bit of different flavor, I would say. And the reason I say that is the 3 of Cups here is very like, being your most like weird, quote unquote, weird, wacky, like, again, no holds barred, like beautiful, magical, feminine self, and really celebrating that, with either other people in your life. So kind of allowing yourself to be that way in your external world, but also allowing like all of the parts of you to kind of come together to, create the most authentic experience of who you can be in this world. And that doesn't come without challenges, of course, but like what I get from this in the context of this reading with the full moon energies is really kind of taking the energy of this full moon and utilizing that as like a celebration, a party, almost like an event, if you will, to really raise your glasses and say like, I'm fucking here. Cheers to me. Cheers to who I am, who I want to be, who I have the capacity to be, and really just celebrating the hell out of it. So this, again, I suppose as an exercise for you for the full moon, is really like getting clear on who you want to be. So stack 1 was very much like clear on the kind of life that you want to lead and live, and also be within that life and that world. But this is more internally, internal work, I would say. So who do you really, really, really want to be? What parts of you do you already love so dearly, and that are just so like magical and whimsical? And again, this is such a like Coachella music fest vibe of a card, in terms of the visuals in this deck. And that's the vibe, like this freedom of expression, and being willing to kind of bring the other pieces of you into that celebration, and like that kind of setting the stage for you to do some some work, if you will, some personal growth work throughout the year. Again, in general, I think across all three of these stacks, the common thread is going to be this being a kind of like jumping off point for our year. The Ace of Wands is about, and again, this is another very like spiritually strong card. You have this, this hand kind of reaching out of the clouds. Like this is very much like God, goddess, spirit, universe energy, kind of passing the baton to you. So like it's not necessarily, this feels very much like a unification between yourself and your spirit guides, your spirit team. This could also kind of be about coming together with your spirit team in a very visceral, physical way, almost, again, as like as a ritual moment for you. I see like dancing and music, and again, like sparkling cider and cup and goblets and cookies and just like incredible full moon, just ritual vibes. Makes me very nostalgic to my childhood, actually. So I love that so much. So yeah, this is very much like, again, your spirit team, your spirit guides, God, goddess, spirit, source, universe, handing that baton over to you to say, hey, don't forget about, not necessarily, oh yeah, I mean, don't forget about us, kind of is the message that comes through. So maybe you've kind of gone away from, or never, or haven't truly experienced the most aligned way to connect spiritually. And so this is kind of like also like a gift. So like, again, like handing you something to remind you or help you to, it does feel like a reminder of like who you are at your core, I would say, is the energy. And so are you willing to take this, basically? Are you willing to take this reminder and it, with it being this wand, right? Ace of Wands, with it being a physical item, what in your real life could you use as a representation of this, that you can, have charge it with the energy of this celebration. Sorry, I'm trying to like think of the words quick enough as the images are coming to mind. Sometimes I wish I could just like, there was a way to like plug something straight into our brains to just translate things for us, but anyways, translate the visuals in our mind. So yeah, so is there, so this, we're building out a whole freaking full moon ritual for you. But is there anything, doesn't matter what it is. Sorry, I need to take a little sip of tea. Doesn't matter what it is. It can be a crystal, it can be a wand, it can be a stick you find, like it can be a piece of jewelry, it can be something that you can imbue and charge with this energy of celebrating your authenticity, your magic, your beauty, your it's like this fairy goddess kind of energy. Very playful, very just like pure fucking joy. And that way, outside of that ritual space, outside of that like one event to celebrate, you have that reminder every single day of who you are. And so if life gets a little challenging, or you're, faced with something, a problem or an issue, or you're exhausted or anxious or whatever, you can even just like hold that thing and kind of tap back into this energy. So that would be my suggestion to you. And then we have the High Priestess card, which she is your intuition. She is your intuition. So if you do this ritual and you celebrate, you get very fucking clear on who you want to be. God, I want to do this. Maybe this will be my full moon ritual tomorrow. This is very, very fun. Taking time to yourself, being in a quiet space where you're not going to be interrupted. Get real vibey, lights, music, candles if you want to, whatever like gets you going. Get some celebratory drink, some cookies, some cakes, whatever, and really get clear. And I would journal this if I were you, but get clear on exactly the type of person you want to be fully expressed in this world. It doesn't have to matter what you do with as that person. Like that's not necessarily what this is about. This is about defining who you want to be, and it needs to include parts of yourself that you already are just so in love with. That way you have like a baseline, and then what are some qualities or some traits or some ways of being that you want to be, and then taking an object that you feel can embody that. Again, doesn't matter what it is, just look around your space or think of something that might that you would want to be that kind of magical vessel for you. And within that ritual space, once you're clear on that person you want to be, like visualize that person, get into that energy and hold that item, and just envision that all that energy as a light source of some kind going into that item. And, making sure it's also very connected to you and connected to God as well. Again, light beams is usually how I kind of picture those types of things, but it can be anything. It can be a cord, it can be a piece of string, it can be lasers, like whatever works for you. But that is amazing. And by doing that, you are going to kind of unlock the core of your intuition. You are going to connect to your inner high priestess, which when you move through the world with that kind of an energy, you are unfucking stoppable. And there is so much joy in that space. You get to carry with you this like celebration, this just this beautiful energy into moments that feel less than celebratory. And you'll be absolutely amazed at what can come out of that, at what you can experience out of that, what you can create out of that. So yeah, that's amazing. Okay. Let's see what else we got going on here. Okay. Of course. Okay. So we have, it says, reach out to the potential that is calling for you. Potential and possibility. Future highest self. Quantum. So quantum leaping, like by doing this ritual that we talked about, that is going to be like taking you a quantum leap into being exactly this, and walking in the world as this energy of your highest self, which means all of the possibilities, all of your potential is open to you. And again, unlike stack 1, where the visualization, if you will, the ritual was about what do you want to do? What are those possibilities you want to have in your life? This is about who do you want to be so that you can be on that path to your potential and be open to receiving and recognizing the incredible opportunities. Because when you're tapped into your intuition fully, and you nurture that connection every single day, then those messages, those guidances, those possibilities, like everything is there for you, and is so much like easier to recognize for your psyche. And so it's like you get to actually take advantage of those things. I swear to God, I don't pick these cards. Like I shuffle and I just pull and I move on. Like I don't see them before I even flip them over, nothing. So I love this oh so much. So we have just the full moon card, surrender to the divine. So the divine being your divine highest self, and that connection to your then spirit team and your inner high priestess energy. Oof. By the way, I have a workshop coming in March that is called Plugged In, and it is literally about discovering and connecting to your inner high priestess. There's a phenomenal exercise we do to figure out who that part is in you, like literally like what they look like, what their name is, like all the things, but connecting to that part of you. And it is something that I did a year ago, which is why I'm excited to do it in like 12 months later. And it has been the single most impactful thing I've ever done. And I have done a lot of inner work in my life, like decades of it. And it has been the single most impactful thing. And so I also like, this is the vibe. I need to clip this part out of this reading, I think, to set the tone for that workshop. But anyways, this is amazing. So surrendering to that divine energy within yourself and connecting to that divine energy outside of yourself as well. Talk to the moon, communicate, again, connection, constant connection, consistent connection to that part of you, to that divine part of you, to your intuition, to your inner high priestess. And that's where this gift, this representation, this physical representation of your spirituality, having that with you every single day is going to be incredible. Fun fact, this amethyst piece here, this is my thing. This I have imbued and charged with the energy of my inner high priestess. So that is why she is here always on my desk. But yeah, so that's amazing. And last but not least, we have our Moonstruck crystal card. So it says, I am calm and collected through anything that comes my way. I am always changing and growing into my best self. I just I'm not going to beat a dead horse here. Like, this is just incredible. I just love how beautifully all of these things tie into each other. And I am loving the energy of this stack. This reading's even more fun than the last one was. So that was stack 2, obviously. We're going to move on to the very last one. So we have our rose quartz piece here, and we have stack number 3. Also, fun fact, my little candle I have over here is a tea light from a company called Shy Wolf Candles, I think. And they do like samplers in little tea lights of all their scents. And so I got a sampler pack, and this is the High Priestess scent. So, of course. All right, so we have stack 3. We have the 2 of Wands. We have the Death card, one of my favies, and we have the 8 of Wands. Okay, this is a very fascinating energy. Just like in the first pick a stack reading, like the third stack is such a different energy, and not in a bad way, but just a very different energy. There is more challenge. There's more trauma, honestly, within the energies, and not that you're going to receive trauma, but that you have come to this point having carried trauma. And so the guidance to you is a little bit different, a little bit a little less like ethereal, I guess is the best way I can describe it. More kind of practical, in order to kind of like baby step your way out of whatever you have been carrying up to this point. So I genuinely want to talk about the Death card first, because this is very much about letting go and allowing for the rebirth of something even better to take its place, which again is the perfect representation of the full moon energy in general. The full moon is the perfect time to release the shit that doesn't work for you, because the full moon is illuminating everything. And so the ritual for you, I think should be, again, it's going to be a journaling exercise, because I feel very wholeheartedly that journaling is an incredible tool to be connected to ourselves in a way that also allows for like an external observation opportunity. So I want you to, again, be in a space where you can be uninterrupted for as long as you need. And this is very much a more like quiet, introspective energy. And so the ritual for you, sorry, there's a lot coming through all of a sudden. The ritual for you should be taking that quiet time to very, very honestly and pragmatically and like no nonsense way of reviewing the people, the experiences, the circumstances in your life currently that are truly not in support of where you want to be headed. And that can be a very challenging exercise. Because again, if it means like there might be people that need to be let go, that's obviously a really, really hard thing. And it's not to say that you're going to tomorrow like end relationships and quit your job and do all the things. It's really getting clear on what currently in my life externally, you can do internal stuff as well, but this feels very much externally. What in my life externally does not serve me anymore. It did at one time and it just doesn't anymore serve your highest purpose, your highest self. So writing these things down, you can journal on maybe why, if that feels right to you or feels good to you, but it is almost more of just like a list, very, again, very systematic, honestly not putting a lot of thought into it. And really reviewing that list and kind of, again, giving yourself the opportunity to be honest about the fact that those things are not serving where you want to be headed in your life. And you have to be willing to energetically release those things. So again, you don't necessarily, this isn't saying that you need to drastically like make a whole bunch of choices tomorrow or in the next couple of days to completely change your entire existence. It is saying, will you be willing to energetically disconnect from these things so that they can fall away in whatever way that they need to? Or maybe that gives them the opportunity to evolve into something that is more supportive of you, but cutting the energetic cords. And so after you have your list, really holding that list and going through it and envisioning these things, whether they're separate or you kind of have them all together, in a field in front of you, and really truly visualizing those energetic cords that are currently connecting you to those things, just being very lovingly dissolved or pulled out of you. I find it very powerful to envision, again, God, spirit, angels, your ancestors, whatever, like helping you to remove these cords from you, and really visualize like how freeing that feels to you, how light you feel after doing that. And by being willing to just start by energetically releasing those things. And while visualizing this, by the way, repeating "I bless and release you in peace" is like over and over and over again going to be very powerful. But that is going to allow you to clear that space within you and within your life for a rebirth, for something new and something beautiful to be kind of for you to be on the path towards. Okay, interesting. So in saying that, it makes sense that the Two of Wands shows up first, because this very much feels like you have spent a lot of time looking back at kind of how you've gotten to this point today. And there is power in that, in being able to recognize how you got to this point. Recognize the journey you've been on. For sure, there's power in that. But you're really being asked to turn your back on that and cut those cords. And the Eight of Wands here is, again, this is very much you in the situation, moving now forward in this other direction. And it definitely feels like there's going to be some things that are still going to try to kind of block your path and get in your way from, again, the people, places, experiences, circumstances that you need to release. And so being willing to just carry forward regardless of that, and also continue to bless and release these things, and allow them to fall away where they need to, and how they need to. And the asterisk to that, I would say, is if you are not willing and able to kind of keep up a consistent, like, bless and release kind of practice, it is entirely possible that these things will create additional blockages, additional slowdowns for you. I don't think they'll completely knock you off course, but it could definitely make you have to either change direction in a way that you don't want to, or in a way that, like, takes you longer to get to kind of your destination. So under all of that, again, knowing that you are not meant to be slowed down. You are not meant to be held back. And you, when the burden, when the trauma, when the baggage gets really, really heavy sometimes, again, bless and release, bless and release, bless and release, bless and release. But just allow yourself to feel kind of so supported in terms of, like, I get the idea of like a shield, like the clouds in this card represent the like divine intervention almost. And so these clouds, while they might seem very, like, you know, wispy and like there's no substance to them, they still have the opportunity to kind of block the sight, block the view of these things that are trying to slow you down. And so that can kind of just like be helpful, I suppose. Another resource for you. Okay. Oh, okay, that's interesting. I love this. It is safe to surrender to the good feelings. The Lover, Aphrodite, passion, abundance. So again, this feels really beautiful in conjunction with kind of what we just talked about, in terms of, like, you don't have to be plagued by these experiences in these circumstances. You don't have to be slowed down. It is safe to surrender to the times that do feel really good, or the times where you do feel very powerful and empowered. Because you are truly meant for more than maybe what you've been experiencing. All right, another love vibe. Bring love into the situation. This, and I'll be honest with you, releasing the shit that is holding you back, releasing some of that, again, trauma or baggage, that is like the ultimate act of self-love, which also allows you, well, actually, let me back up for a second. Also, when you do it with this idea of blessing and releasing, you're also providing so much love to those people and those situations and those experiences as well. So you're doing it like love is the vibe, love is the energy with which you do all of this, because that is how you get through it. And that's not to simplify it or dumb it down or make it seem like it's not, it's not also work. But the energy of love is going to trump the energy of fear, which I get the feeling that has been more prevalent in your life up to this point, is fear-based decision-making or fear-based energy. Celebration. Love that so much, that this is what you get to do. This is what you get to experience after you actually let this shit go, and allow it to be released from your life in whatever way it needs to. You get to celebrate. Like, that's what's on the other side of this. And really, really, just holding the faith in that, holding the belief that you do have a celebration that is just over the horizon. And then we have the optical calcite. I am charged with new energy. I am focused, resilient, and passionate. Resilient, 100% my dear. Like, absolutely. Resiliency is 100% the vibe here for you in this situation. The PS to that is you don't have to always be resilient. You can also be joyful. You can also be passionate. You can also be playful. And you can be in celebration. So that is really beautiful. A beautiful, again, look at kind of the horizon for you, which is still right there. I mean, it's so damn close. It is so damn close. So, love that. Okay. I hope that helps you if you chose that stack. And that is it. That is our full moon in Leo, January 2024 reading, and some little guidance and direction, exercises, rituals for you to be able to do as well on this full moon. If you are watching this after the 25th of January, just know you get to work with the full moon energy for at least 3 days after that. So you won't have completely missed out. But also, if you're watching this well after the 25th of January in 2024, I would be curious to know if any of this resonated with what you have experienced. So with that, I am going to sign off here. As a reminder, links down in the description box for booking personal readings with me. And also, if you follow me on social media, which is Your Spiritual GPS on Instagram, I will be starting to share more and more about my plugged in workshop, the Connecting to Your Inner High Priestess workshop that will be coming in March. So if you're interested in that, definitely keep an eye out on Instagram for details. So thank you so much for being here. And I, again, would love to have conversation about how these cards have resonated for you, and you know, if there's anything, any other comments or feedback or questions you might have, please, you know, leave them down in the comments, or you can DM me over on Instagram as well. So I hope you all have a beautiful full moon, and I will absolutely be back at the beginning of February. I'm gonna do at least 3 readings a month. That is the goal. One will be the first of the month to kind of look at the energy for the month ahead. We'll do one for the new moon energy and the full moon energy of each month. So yeah, so stay tuned for more readings from me, and I will talk with you all soon. Thanks.